Okay, so we're going to start with the pre-start checklist. My checklist is a simple, printable, editable checklist that came from the previous owner. Adjust my squelch just a little bit. Alright, so starting off with the pre-start checklist, passenger briefing. I have no passenger. The baggage is all secure behind the seats. The seatbelt is fastened. The canopy is closed and secured. I want to get started soon because it's getting pretty warm out. Flight controls are free and correct. Brakes. Put the flaps up here in order to check the aileron trim. The elevator trim. And it's set to neutral. Fuel selector on the left or right. Right now we're on the right. Fuel selector, the mixture to full rich. Throttle to about 1/8 of an inch, which is about 360 degrees. Carb heat cold. Oil cooler is set to cold. Nav lights on. Autopilot to the turn coordinator position. My noise cancelling is on. Master switch on. Okay, this is the engine start checklist. Master switch on. Fuel on the left or right. Fuel pump on. Avionics 1 is on. Prime for 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3. Make sure the prop area is clear, and then start the engine. Clear prop. Idle at about 900. We have oil pressure in the green. Temperature is at 71. We'll wait for that to come up. We have good fuel pressure. Fuel pump off. I'm very old school. I do everything by pen and paper. The engine start time was at 10:17 a.m. There are no meters. Well, there's a meter built into the dynon, but I don't use it. Everything is done by paper. Now, I did notice my fuel was 25 gallons, so I go to my fuel, add, but I'm actually going to decrease it by 2 gallons. Now we're showing 25. As I said, the Vans gauges are very inaccurate. They're showing basically full on the left side where I have about 14 gallons. And on the right it's showing about just under 15, where in reality the dip test showed it at about 11 or so. Go back to 900. Radio on, transponder on. Back to my checklist. Okay, we need to check the amp meter. On this panel, I'm told there was 2 ways to install the dynon amp meter. I don't like the way it's set. It continuously shows the discharge rate. Currently it's at -9, which is about normal with just the lights on. But we are showing 14.2 volts on the battery, so that's the one we normally go on. I'd much prefer that this showed a positive charging rate to let me know that at a glance the alternator is working, and I do intend to get that fixed at some point. Alright, so fuel pump is off, and I always lean very aggressively underground. Don't want any spark plug fouling. I'm going to change the tanks because there is more fuel in the left tank. And for that, for the run up and takeoff, I always leave it on the same tank. Flaps are up, the elevator trim is set. Avionics 2 is on, and we are set to 125.7 for Kamloops. I always do a little quick brake test. A little bit of throttle, roll ahead 5 feet. And make sure we can stop. We did. Plug in my iPad. Start up ForeFlight, which I love to fly with. Will not fly without it.
Kamloops Radio, good morning. RV6 Golf Zulu Victor Delta.
RV6 Golf Zulu Victor Delta, Kamloops Radio, good morning.
Hey, Zulu Victor Delta is at the Flying Club. Still a run up to do at gate 23, and then it'll be a departure to the east.
Zulu Victor Delta, wind 13013, altimeter 3011, squawk 5562. Traffic not talking to them at this time, inbound runway 27. Looks like they're estimating in about 12 to 13 minutes is a Q400.
Hey, Zulu Victor Delta, check the traffic, and I'll use runway 27.
Zulu Victor Delta, roger, runway 27, squawk 5562.
5562.
Kilo Whiskey Whiskey, you're clear to the zone to the west. You can switch on route. Have a good day.
Whiskey Whiskey, roger, thanks. Have a great day, too.
Yeah, you can keep the code there. And what's your destination?
Clem 2 by the end of the day. Clem 2, but we'll be hitting Anaheim Lake next.
Roger.
Okay, the wind was from about 130, which is there. Okay, the run-up checklist. Speed on the brakes. The engine gauges, one quick check. Everything is green except for the oil temperature, which is still in the caution of 85 degrees. Run-up for me is 75 degrees or higher, and a takeoff of not less than 100 degrees. So we're above 75, we're good there. Fuel is on the fullest tank, mixture full rich, carb bead is cold, oil cooler is set to cold, and up to 1700 RPM. There's 1700.
Kamloops Radio, again on course 3111. We've been
Vacuum is good.
From center, we're just at 11,000.
Engine gauges.
300.
Again, everything is normal.
Course 3111, Kamloops Radio, squawk IDAN.
RP check.
Wind 1403, altimeter 3011, draft taxi for departure.
It's just a check for function. We do lose some RPM there, so it's working properly. Again, mixture function check. Increase. Then a decrease. So it's working. Mag check. Left. Lose about 20 RPM. Back to both. And the PMAG is showing 10, almost a negligible drop. Back to both. Mixture is full rich. Carb heat on. And then the idle check. Make sure the engine doesn't cut out at idle with carb heat. And we're down to about 620 RPM. Looks like we're good to go flying. Oil temperature is up to 97 degrees now. It will be up to 100 by the time we leave. So, pre-takeoff checklist. The canopy is locked. Harnesses is secure. The elevator trim is set. Fuel is on the fullest tank. No flaps required. Mixtures full rich. Carb heat off. Fuel pump on. Magnetos on both, check. And entering the runway. Mixture to full rich. I use my strobes and my wigwags. Transponder to altitude. And then record the time up, which will be about 25 past.
Kamloops Radio, Zulu Victor Delta, run up complete and ready for departure.
Zulu Victor Delta, roger. The Q400, they're still 20, just coming up 20 miles to the east and descending out at 8,300.
Hey, Zulu Victor Delta, I'll depart 27 and a right turn and go out over Paul Lake. I'll stay well north.
Zulu Victor Delta, roger.
So, quick scan, everything is on that should be on, flaps are up. Both directions is clear, nobody on the runway. And off we go. Back pressure on the stick, lots of right rudder. Nose wheel is coming off. And then hold it there till about 60. And off we go. Accelerate to 104. Adjust my aileron trim a little. And we're about 22, 23 degrees today. 104 knots climb, 1,500 feet per minute. And just make this a wide turn. Fuel pump off. Quick scan of the gauges, everything looks good. Today I'm going to hold it at 3,500 feet because I want to fly over Paul Lake. Got some friends camping there. Should be a little bit bumpy though. There's 3,500.
Airport 3111 traffic, was airborne off of Kamloops runway 27 about 2.5, 3 minutes ago. It was an RV6. They're currently about 1.5 miles northeast of the field, eastbound. North of the approach for runway 27, it's out of 3,500 on air flight.
Yeah, Encore 3111, we're 10 mile final runway 27, and we have that traffic on TCAS.
Encore 3111. Zulu Victor Delta, sir, altitude?
Zulu Victor Delta maintaining 3,500.
Zulu Victor Delta, roger.
And is that airplane moving more north? He looks like he's still straight on our approach.
Oh no, he's well north of you right now.
Okay, next one.
I'm guessing TCAS is very low resolution. So just lean a little bit here.
Kamloops Radio, good morning, Fireguard 125.
Fireguard 125, Kamloops Radio, good morning.
Takeoff will be off eastbound 55 miles, 6 minutes fire action, 7 fire miles to follow.
Fire 125, runway 27, wind 140 at 3 altimeter 3010, traffic 6 mile final, runway 27, Q400, runway 09 is available.
3010, plan 09, and on taxi now, hold join.
Fire 125, roger, runway 09, squawk 6713.
6713.
Encore 3111, anticipate backtrack for Bravo once you land.
Encore 3111, we checked that, we'll plan Bravo, and we're 5 mile final.
Encore 3111, roger.
And here comes the thermal turbulence. Lights off. And continuously scanning the engine gauges, everything is green. Good oil pressure, good oil temperature. Fuel flow is a little high, but I don't normally fly this low. I'm almost always 5,500, 7,500. Once I clear Paul Lake, then I'll climb up. So we're down low, it is warm out. My temperature gauge is showing 17 degrees Celsius, but I don't think it's completely accurate. At 2,350-ish RPM, 10.5 gallons per hour. My exhaust gas, the warmest is showing is 1,259, which is great. And cylinder head temperature is all under, well, the warmest one is 378.
3111, if there's going to be room, if you stop before Alpha and the commander can get out, then you can take it.
Fortunately not, but we'll be doing a quick backtrack.
No problem.
And just coming around the backside of Paul Lake here now on the right.
That's all right, it is a caravan.
Backtrack.
Tower 125, roger.
Now quarter 1, or 3111, backtrack to the Bravo.
Awkward 3111, roger, thanks, Trump.
I was sent a photo by my friends that were camping. I'm going to start a slow climb here now to get out of the thermal. And my data's not working so great here, so give it a few minutes.
Upper 3241, roger. Flyer 125, caution possible wave turns for latitude 400.
And coming up on 5,500. Getting a little bumpy in the hills here.
Zulu Victor Delta, Kamloops radio, still on the frequency?
I am, go ahead.
Yeah, just a heads up, tankers are going to be coming off Kamloops. Looks like they're headed up towards the Sycamoose area.
Okay, Zulu Victor Delta, check that. I'm actually just headed to Copper Island on Shuswap. I'll stay low, and I'll stay on the north side of Little Shuswap and Shuswap Lake.
Roger. Fire Holly Kamloops, sorry, stepped on you second. Lead fire guard calling Kamloops radio. Sarah stepped on you, so you're going to call sign. And go ahead. Fire 676, class 6, Kamloops radio. Roger, runway 091150 at 3 altimeter 3010, squawk 6717. Fire 676, class 6, roger.
Yes. 1267 traffic, vicinity of Chase. RV6 Golf Zulu Victor Delta is at 5,500 feet eastbound towards Shuswap Lake, about 3 miles to the west of Chase. Golf Zulu Victor Delta, 5,500.
Come through Park Guard 675, number 4 with numbers traffic, go ahead.
Fire 675, Kamloops radio, squawk 6715. Fire 688, Kamloops radio, squawk 6723. Fire 677, Kamloops radio squawk 6721. Fire 690, Kamloops radio squawk 6724.
Fire 125, cleared 6 to the east through 4 for 5.5.
Fire 125, roger. Fire 676 plus 6, roger.
I'm going to start another descent back down to 3,500. Those fire guards are coming up behind me, and they're going the exact same way I am, heading towards a fire. You can just, I'm not sure how visible it is, but there is some smoke over to the east there. Of course, I want to stay out of their way. Quick carb check for the descent. Way too warm for carb heat, but, or sorry, for carb ice. But it's a good habit to be in. I'll check in on 26.7 to see if any of the fire guards are on frequency here now.
Fire guard traffic off Kamloops on 1267. This is RV6 Golf Zulu Victor Delta.
Zulu Victor Delta, Fire Guard 125.
Okay, Zulu Victor Delta, I'm just over just a beam chase right now. I'm going to stick to the north side of Little Shuswap and stay on the north shore of Shuswap Lake. And I'm in a descent now for 3,500, so hopefully I'll stay out of your way.
I copy that. We should be all leveling off at 55. Our direct track kind of has us, should be going about south shore of the Shuswap, but will be north of the main valley.
Okay, I copy that, thanks. 1267 traffic, vicinity of Shuswap Lake, RV6 Golf Zulu Victor Delta is at 3,500 feet, just following the north shore of Shuswap to Copper Island, and then returning back to Kamloops, descending to 3,000. Golf Zulu Victor Delta.
Do a quick little video here on the iPhone. Where it just starts getting bumpy. There's 3,000 feet. Beautiful day on the lake.
One 267 traffic, vicinity of Copper Island on Shuswap. It's Golf Zulu Victor Delta. Just orbiting over Copper Island at this time, 3,000 feet, and turning back west towards Kamloops and maintaining 3,000.
Still no sign of the fire guards. But I did tell them I'd maintain the north shore.
Traffic 67 in the area of Kamloops, fire guard 676 plus 6. Reply to 7 Fireboss, just out of Kamloops to the east-northeast, about 10 miles, leveling 7.5. We're headed northeast on fire action north of Sycamus, Firebird 676 plus.
They're going up to 7,500 feet, so no problem anyway.
Traffic advisory for Salmon Arm, Sycamus area, Firebird 125 is a caravan. 15 to the northwest of Salmon Arm. Eastbound, passing north of the airport, will be working a fire about 6 miles to the northwest of Sycamus. Complex Fireguard 125.
Got Squilax Field coming up here on the left. Little Shuswap Lake. And over to the right is Adams Lake. Showing 32 miles to Kamloops, and I always make my first call at 20 miles. So there were two things to get used to when transitioning from my last airplane, which is a Piper Cherokee, to this RV6A. One of them was speed. It's a good thing. I mean, it wasn't a hard transition, it was a good transition. But when you're normally used to climbing at 85, cruising at 100, to climb at 105 and cruise at about 140, 150, depending on the altitude and winds. Like right now, at 2,350 RPM, at 3,000 feet, I'm showing an indicated airspeed of about 142 and a ground speed of 141. And that's a real game changer when it comes to cross-country flying. When you're talking about going 200 or 300 miles in a Cherokee or a 172, you're burning 8 gallons an hour. Right now I'm burning 10, but that's because I'm low and going a little fast. But it's a game changer when you think that, I can be in, well, in my last video I went to Nanaimo and back in an hour and 20 minutes. And I still only burned about 12 gallons of fuel. Or about, what's that in liters? About 44, 45 liters or so. And in the Cherokee, it would have taken me a little better than 3 hours and 24, 26 gallons. So it makes a big difference, the speed. And that's not to poo-poo on Cherokees and 172s, but it's just something that you have to get used to, and I say that with a grin on my face. The second thing was flying with a stick. Again, it wasn't a hard transition, but when you've done this for 150 or 180 hours, to just very minor control inputs can make such a big difference. The amount of control input it takes to put this into a very fast turn was something to get used to. But I have to say, I'm no special gifted aviator, but it wasn't a very hard transition at all. Actually, I think, and one more thing that I'll throw in there that was difficult to get used to at first, and that's taxiing with the free castering nose wheel. Just using the brakes to taxi when you're so used to the linked nose wheel of a Cherokee. I spent an awful lot of time doing this, taxiing around. It's well documented that the nose wheel is the Achilles heel of the RV6s, the RV7s, 9s, 14s. Well, actually, I think the 14s are probably a little bit better. But it's not landing gear, it's taxi gear. And you have to very consciously, well, you should never land on the nose wheel, obviously. It doesn't matter what kind of airplane it is. But in this one, it's critical. As a matter of fact, when this airplane was all of 28 hours old, the gentleman who built it had a prop strike and caused some fairly extensive damage with only 28 hours on the engine and the airframe.
Traffic 67 in the area of Salmon Fire 76 Factor 7 fire bosses were 15 to the northwest of Salmon preceding fire action 10 west, or correction, 10 north of Kamloops, descending out of 7.5 Factor 676 +6.
Starting to switch fuel tanks. So fuel pump on. Switch to the right. Make sure there's no stumble. And fuel pump off. So on this airplane I have a manual aileron trim and electric elevator trim. We're coming up on 20 miles. So switch to 25.7. Listen for a moment, make sure we don't step on anybody.
Kamloops Radio, RV6 Golf Zulu Victor Delta.
RV6 Golf Zulu Victor Delta, Kamloops Radio.
Yeah, Zulu Victor Delta is 20 to the east inbound.
Zulu Victor Delta, runway 27, wind 150 at 3 altimeter 3009.
Zulu Victor Delta, roger, runway 27.
Zulu Victor Delta, roger, runway 27. And your estimate?
Sorry, say again?
Yeah, what's your estimated time of landing?
Oh, sorry, showing about 8 minutes.
The GPS is actually saying 7 minutes, but by the time I slow down, 8 should be pretty close. Switch over to the south side of the river here to line up with 27. Coming up on Mount Paul here on the right. That's normally a good spot to start planning your slowdown. Gives you about a 5-mile final for runway 27. I'm still showing 146 knots here at 6 miles or so.
Kamloops Radio, Golf Zulu Victor Delta, River Junction, final 27.
Zulu Victor Delta, roger. And if you require, get back track for the south section.
Okay, roger that, thanks.
So, fuel pump on. Wigwags on. One last carpet check. And reduce speed for 100 for the first notch of flaps. Here's 100. 10 degrees of flaps. And inside the white arc, full flaps. Then I aim for 75 for the approach. So everything is on, carpet is off, mixture to full rich. Case of a go around, down to 70 knots. Two white, two red. Once you can make the runway, throttle to idle. And try to hold it off as long as it will stay flying. Flaps up. Lots of back pressure. And we floated a little bit long that time. Normally I can make the turn by runway 22. So fuel pump off, landing light off, and lean aggressively for ground.